Only when I accept myself fully, I can start learning how my brain works and working with it in a healthy, loving way. Otherwise, masking and judging myself takes all the energy, and I'm in a vicious cycle of trying to be someone that I am not. I always had big visions for myself, making art and videos for you, cultivating healthy habits, having a good work-life balance, exercising regularly, and have my creativity flowing. But trying to replace my old habits with new, better ones was always a big challenge for me. I tried lots of things, trying to change myself for the better, reading books about self-help and productivity, listening to podcasts about psychology, watching YouTube videos about it, trying to change myself, trying to be healthier, more productive, more creative, more at peace. In other words, searching for this inner freedom and feeling of being fully alive. But as I saw that no techniques and knowledge really helped me to change for the better in this radical way that I was hoping for, I started to think about, where is this block? Why can't I just free myself from my destructive habits? One day I asked myself, why is there always this gap between who I am and who I want to be? Not long after, a thought popped into my head. It said, you can never change if you don't accept yourself. What a strange thought, I thought. It sounded like a nonsense, sort of a poetic philosophy that doesn't make any sense. But it resonated with me really deeply. Something was true about that, and I knew it clear as day. And that thought stuck with me for a while then. Some time has passed, and I got this book in my hands that confirmed that thought. And since then, I'm observing the acceptance inside me and am stunned at how accepting myself is changing me and making my bad habits disappear. I notice that if I don't accept myself, I can't observe how my mind works, nor how my brain would be able to change the things about myself. If I don't accept myself, I'm too busy looking at others, thinking that I should be more normal and creative or healthy living like them. I observe them and listen to their advice and try to replicate them. Self-help and people sharing their experiences and advices on the internet are great. I'm doing this right now. But we can't forget the fact that we are all totally unique, and that learning about theory is gonna take us far, but not to the finish line. There is a point when we have to look into ourselves and get to know our own mind and how we work. Accepting myself takes practice. I'm still on the journey. We are not usually taught to accept ourselves as we are and observe ourselves with loving curiosity, but we can get there. Starting with sitting down and observing ourselves, thoughts, emotions, feeling of being in this body, and coming to a realization that we are perfect just the way we are. In order to change, we have to be true, open, and vulnerable. We have to leave our old self behind in a lot of ways and grieve it and get to know this new version of ourselves, especially if the changes we are applying are quite big. Did you ever try to open up to someone who judged you, who wanted you to be somebody else? You don't wanna. You can be your full self only in accepting environment. With learning about ourselves and changing ourselves, it's the same way. If we are judging ourselves, not accepting ourselves, we cannot open up and transform. We are stuck. I started to observe myself without judgment. I slowly learned what I am excited about, what feels good to me, in what way I feel like exercising, what healthy food makes me happy, in which circumstances does my creativity flow naturally appear, and where does the creative block comes from, and so on. I have learned how my creativity is blocked if I make structured plans with too much details in advance, or when I try to make art for what other people will like. I notice that I need infinite options for picking what subject I want to paint next. I don't like limiting myself on a palette. I like the freedom of infinity, which is really different than some people that like limited palette and for their subject to be prompted because they're overwhelmed with limited options. I don't like making reels for Instagram. I paint more if I start early in the morning because my mind becomes more cluttered as the day goes on. And I like doing yoga. I like responding to my YouTube comments outside on the balcony, and morning meditation keeps my heart peaceful through the day. I learned that I work best if I make myself weekly to-do lists instead of daily ones. I need to feel not pressured and creative while picking my next task in order to be productive. And I also really like fizzy water. And because I have found all of this and much more about myself and how I most easily operate in my everyday, I am much more creative, much more productive, and a lot happier than I ever was. I found the immense beauty in observing myself with curiosity. In me is the whole personality that can be explored, and it is immensely fascinating. I can't believe that for all my life I was so distracted with others that I had forgotten about myself. The best recipe to grow and change for the better is not running on willpower and forcing yourself to do it. What really works in the long run and what is really a fun way, I find, is that you go on a journey of accepting yourself, and with that you can start observing yourself and learning about how your brain works and what stuff it wants to do at what times, living every day and trying to be the best version of not the role that you learn to play, but the best version of yourself. Getting to know ourselves can really be one of the most beautiful things ever, and most productive ones. I would argue that it is the kindest approach of changing ourselves for the better. In the context of work and how we live in every day, it is the thing that will help us to be most productive healthy and happy in the long run. You are wonderful just the way you are, and it's such a shame for the world that you are wearing a mask trying to replicate other people. The world deserves to know you, and you deserve to grow in the next version of yourself.